Welcome to the AERO People podcast. Usually, we interview people and persons who have great ideas. Today, we interview a great idea or someone representing a great idea. The future of how we travel, or at least a big part of it. Beau represents the idea of new, not just urban mobility, but hopefully it makes one vehicle we currently need to get around in the air and on the land unnecessary. So, Beau, please tell us what I'm actually cryptically was speaking about.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great to be here.
Very welcome.
And of course, it's a podcast regarding aviation, regarding air travel. So the listeners are already familiar with aviation. But if you look into what's happening in the road today, is that everybody is upgrading and the roads are getting fuller and fuller. So we actually don't have a lot of space on the ground anymore. The 2D mobility. So if you're driving on a normal highway, it's getting full, it's slippery, you get congestion every day. So you can go two directions, up and down, instead of just back and forward. So in the next 10 years, you will see more and more mobility changes than you've seen in the last 100 years. So in the end, a car is still the same idea as a car 100 years ago. It just goes back and forth, most of the time as four wheels. And if you think about it, we didn't make major steps. Of course, aviation have made major steps, but also on the interior, on the technical side, not on the concept itself.
Exactly. When you think about, let's say, an Airbus 350 doesn't look much different than a 707. So the progress since the last 60 years was marginal, or it still looks the same how we actually operate.
It is interior-wise, fuel use.
Yeah.
You know it. It's way better. Also on the safety side, the planes are getting better, but the principle stays the same. You go to a place where you don't want to be, then you fly to a place where you also don't want to be, and then from there you need a taxi or a car or you need public transportation to get to your end destination. So in the beginning, we were designing a vehicle which could do both flying and driving combined. And of course, when you're working on those two markets, there are a lot of challenges to overcome.
Plenty of it. You are based in the Netherlands, so you are based in the EU, and we love regulations.
It is, yeah. If you think about the place where you should start a flying car, I think the Netherlands it's the last place you can come up with. No, it's where the idea was born. So back in 2008, they came together with a group of engineers. Actually, the idea already was established in 1999 to build a flying car which was accessible for daily use. So you could skip the line, you could use the free airspace, and you're not just queuing up for the next exit.
I remember I was a few years ago in Oshkosh, and I think it's dangling from the ceiling, the aero car, the flying car. It was made in the 50s. But you had that huge tail boom. You had to carry the wings in the trailer behind you. So when we talk about your solution, where does it differ to those things we know from the past?
We always say that the Bellevue Liberty is the first flying car, but what we actually mean is it's the first certified commercial flying car, which you can actually buy. If you look in those 100 years that we have automotive and aviation, people have tried to combine them. So there are so many brilliant ideas, from example, the AERO car, the Convair. They were all brilliant ideas of creating a flying car because we've been dreaming about it for 100 years. But what everybody has done is build a flying car for the future. So they built a flying car. They were like, in the future, everybody would use this. Maybe in 10 years we have this technology, so this will work. And of course, when you're always aiming to get something for the future, you don't get it today. What we did in the beginning was fit the flying car within current regulations and within current infrastructure. So you don't need an extra adaptation. You don't need much change to use it right now on the road and right now in the air.
Is it already legal to use it?
On the road, we got everything sorted. So it is like a normal car. You can drive it up to 160 kilometers an hour.
Well, it drives like a normal car, but
except in the Netherlands.
Yeah, but except of that, there is nothing ordinary on it.
No, it does look wicked indeed. But what we tried to create was something you can just fit in your own parking garage. So it doesn't matter if you're living in downtown Vienna or in Amsterdam, or you're living on the countryside, you can use it everywhere. So it's a package like a normal car, which you can operate on the roads with a normal driver license. And the moment you want to fly, then you of course need to have the pilot's license, but you're just a normal gyroplane. So we didn't change any regulations. It is just two vehicles packed in one package.
Okay. When you approached the EASA with that idea to build a flying car, what was the response?
Of course, very surprised. Very surprised. But I think that's with every new idea. In the beginning, I heard a story of one of the earlier investors in Belgium. And it was the dream of a flying car. But back then, if you're searching for the first investor round, you don't have anything to show. You got some pictures, you got some drawings, but you don't have a physical product.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest step in the beginning of the company. I think current CEO and founder Rob Bingemans has created that it is real and it's coming.
You can touch it, yeah.
It's touching, yeah.
So the driving certification is done. You could drive it around. How about the flying certification? Was that because you said it's basically a normal gyroplane, so you didn't have to invent any new regulations? Like, just let me follow up why I'm asking you this. When you think about the whole urban air mobility idea with that eVTOLs and that all that kind of stuff that we fly around in cities, probably they had to get a completely new regulation, and that's the most probably, I'm doing a bit of guesswork now, one of the reasons why this whole certification process of it, or until we finally could use that products, drags on and on. Is that the same issue that you have, or?
It's not in the beginning what we worked with. What we took was existing regulations. So in the air, when you're seeing a Bellevue, it is in between CS23, which is light aircraft, CS27, small rotorcraft, and there's a special condition on gyroplane. So we fit the whole package on your certification basis. Everything is there. The other vehicles, what you just mentioned, the urban air mobility market, for us it's also interesting because we believe that the market on both sides will grow.
Yeah.
In the whole flying car market, in the sense of the word, you can see a big two fronts. One is flight drive mobility, where we're now aiming at, and you have the urban air mobility side. So you got other companies like the bigger drone makers from Germany, UK, US, and those are aiming for new infrastructure, most of the time also new technologies, which still need to be emerged or matured, and then they can implement it easier. So what EASA is doing, or of course they're checking everything, because every aircraft which goes in the air needs to be of maximum safety.
Yeah. And when you think that eVTOLs is, I guess you could break it down, it's a cheaper way of flying a helicopter. You get the same thing more or less, like on a helicopter, but just 2 scales below.
It is. You can see it as, the name is already taken, but you can see it as an Airbus. It brings you from one station where you can buy a ticket to the other station where you leave the aircraft. So in essence, nothing big has changed since the helicopter.
Yeah.
Back in the days, we also had the Pan Am helicopter landing on top of the roof inside London, inside New York. So if you're now going to do that with a drone-like vehicle, it's like an electric helicopter.
Yeah, like an electric helicopter taxi. Well, because I remember I've seen the Power V 2 years ago at eBay's.
Yeah, we met
first
at
time.
eBay's
Yeah,
first time.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I looked at it, so yeah, for a funny and rich kid toy. And then I thought, well, what's the actual business case behind it? What's the purpose? And then I thought, I live just 2 miles away from an airport, from an airfield. Stefan, someone like you is actually the business case. Someone who has to travel a lot, travel distance that's like 2 hours, 3 hours driving time. So, like in my case, I could drive the Paul V in the morning to the airfield, open up the rotor, fly wherever to Vienna to the closest airfield, land, fold it down, drive to the city. Compare safe compared to driving the car at least 50% of the time. So, okay, that's actually a smart idea. But until you had that realization it is a tool for the businessman, you think about it, it's probably as a toy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the first time I saw it, I was really begeisterd as well. Like, what is it? What kind of market is it aiming at? And in the private customer market, you can see it as a tool to improve operations. So you can be somewhere quicker, more efficient, and in the end also with a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But since we are doing that and we're certifying also together with EASA, that makes that for the first time in aviation history, people can use a gyroplane for commercial operations. So we see also a big interest on the commercial side from governments, from businesses. For example, for border patrol, coast guarding, police observations, which normally always had to use a helicopter, which is of course more inefficient, a bit more expensive, also on the maintenance side, and harder to train, and always needs to stay at an airport. Well, a PLV, you can, for example, for the police forces, you can put it in the police office in a normal parking spot.
Sure, safe hangar costs huge costs.
It saves you a lot of costs, and then you can still pick every airport where you want to fly from and where you want to fly to, because the takeoff distances are very little. So
how much do you need?
For takeoff, you need just about 180 meters maximum.
Mm-hmm.
So on a normal day with normal winds, you will be up in the air about 100 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And for landing, you can land on the size of a tennis court. 30 meters is sufficient. So if you're thinking about grass strips, small concrete strips, gravel, you can use all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of you need to go to the big hub of an airport where a commercial airliner is flying you from big airport to another big airport, you can use all of those small fields. And in Europe, we got over 10,000 fields already available today. In the US, you actually have 14,000.
I guess in the US, you could basically take off from every 200-meter long strip, or does it need to be a certified airfield? I mean, in Europe, yes, of course. But
in Europe, it's also depending on the country.
Mm-hmm.
US is more free. If you have private property, it's directly allowed. If you have the space, of course, for it.
Yeah, of course. Don't roll over the neighbors.
No, that will get you into huge cost in the US. So when in essence, it's a very fun vehicle where you combine two very nice things together. The efficiency of a normal car, so you can still use it on the normal highways. And in case you want to go the extra mile, you just go up in the air, and in a matter of minutes you can be up.
Mm-hmm. That's the unique feature. So far, it's just a two-seater, right?
Yes, this is this two-seater. So if we look into that bigger advanced air mobility market, this is really a vehicle, the PLV Liberty, focused on the flygraph mobility. People have an ownership model, so they own a flying car. And we also have concepts on the other field. We won't be the first one in the other field, but we have all the experience which we get in the first market, certification, on the supply chain, production, maintenance. We all bring that together also in the second market. And it won't be one way or the other. We will have it combined in a company, because advanced air mobility is the bigger market where we're aiming at.
Yeah, and you provide different solutions then.
Yes, so this is the first solution which we can offer in today's playing field. So it is nothing, in the end, it's nothing special, even though it is something special.
It's a solution to a problem, a new solution to an old problem.
It is, yeah. So it's almost there. Everything on the road is now approved. Everything in the air, we are in the final stages of certification. So with IASA, it's called compliance demonstration, where you actually show that all the testing results you have prove your airworthiness. So
before you go flying.
Yes, you do. So you estimate it would be like this, and then you have a test, and then it's hopefully the same result.
Well, yeah.
It's of course most of the time. So you're building up a whole pile of paperwork, proving that the vehicle which you designed is airworthy, and you can use it in the air.
Yes.
So it's almost time.
And aircraft is considered airworthy when it weighs its own max takeoff weight in paper.
It is, yeah.
At least. Yeah. At least. I remember I read that you had a huge deal in Dubai recently.
Yes, we did. Yeah, it's for us. It's great that these big deals are going on because it also shows the interested in the market of advanced air mobility. So recently we had a deal in Dubai of a reservation of over 100 pieces, and they're all reserved for the last mile solution. So if you're flying into a big airport and maybe you have a condo in the country, or you need to go to another village or another city, you can use a PLV to get there. So you don't need the infrastructure or the roads. You can just step in, enjoy the flight, and be at your location in a matter of minutes.
So it will be used as a commercial vehicle there?
Yes. So this reservation is purely as some kind of a taxi solution. So people can enjoy an air taxi.
Only in Dubai, you could say.
Only in Dubai. Well, hopefully also on other
places. Yes,
but
if they're up for new ideas, then it's certainly there.
It is. The adaption of new technologies is so super quick.
Yeah.
So for us, it's also a great showcase. In the end, if you have flying cars in a city, and it's our flying car, it's also very good for the branding of
certainly.
Yeah,
certainly. So how many are currently on order?
So the global number, I'm not 100% sure.
I don't know.
But with those 100 vehicles in Dubai, we are well set up for the first 3-4 years of production. But we have orders in from Australia, US, Canada, Western Europe countries, so also Spain. We got new customers in Romania. The Middle East is booming. So basically around the globe, there is the first of getting your hands on one of these first flying cars.
That's the thing, because when you think that it hasn't flown to date, as far as I know.
We did it with the prototype.
Yeah.
So that's pure experimental flights where you are testing if your concept works.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to know that your concept is correct. So if you start the certification, you also want that your commercial product is allowed to fly and works. But you're not sending up a pilot up in the air in a vehicle you still see as not safe. So therefore, all the tests which we are now doing are gathering information that the vehicle is safe. So for example, we have finished the aborted takeoff test, so where you have maximum thrust on your propeller. We have different rotor tests, so also the strength on the rotor is tested and multiply of what it normally has by forces. So all of those tests are creating a good basis for the flight vehicle. And in aviation certification, at the very last step, you will do test flying. So with the PLV, we only need to do 150 hours of verification flying. But also in the air, all the data is exactly the same as you have done in your simulated testing, in your ground testing, and in your lab tests.
Oh, that's impressive. And what the idea that I have is basically you sell a product that has never been there before, and it's sold out for the first 3-4 years. That gives you an indication where it ends up, actually, that when the interest is that high.
Yeah, sometimes it's unbelievable. For one case, we started the whole conversation with why would you even start a flying car business in the Netherlands? And if you're looking into private aviation, business aviation, in the Netherlands, we are not that fond of aviation at all. And if you look into small aircraft, we don't have a big register of aircraft registered in the Netherlands. So at the start of the company, we were like, maybe 5 or 10 of these liberties will stay in the Netherlands for Dutch clients to enjoy it. And we made those expectations based on the existing register. Nowadays, we've sold over 70 separate vehicles in the Netherlands.
So basically, every second private aircraft will be a Polly then.
It's almost the case. Yeah. It's almost the case. And the reason why that is that our current customers are not pilots yet. So also people who have always been dreaming of flying cars, or been dreaming of getting into aviation, see this as a step into the world of owning a flying vehicle. So 80% of our current customers has never flown an hour before. So on one side, we are creating a very safe product to all regulations, EASA certified. On the other side, we have a pilot, which we also need to train. So we also have our own flying car academy.
So that's a big, I think that's a big USP or something that we have identified the need. Is you don't need to be a pilot for every other aircraft that you buy, except you're going to a jet, but for your private use, it's you are a pilot before you buy it.
Yeah,
this is quite a big paradigm shift that you actually buy the thing and then become a pilot, but with it, it's like when you would buy a car with 18 and you get the driver's license there. It feels a bit odd, but it's actually logical. It's quite a good idea, and people don't need to be scared that the burden to get into it, to step into that world, is very low compared to any other flying.
In the end, a gyroplane is very simple. It's a very simple product, which is also very comfortable to fly. So there are no big vibrations around you. Of course, in the air, you can hear it. But it's not like a helicopter with all the chaos surrounding you and all the focus you need of flying. Flying a gyroplane is comfortable because it's not that fast, but also not that chaotic as the other.
Yeah. Talk about speed. What's the speeds that you fly usually maximum?
In the air, you would do about 180 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And always in a straight line.
Yeah, that's the thing. I haven't reset my computer in the car for quite a while, and I'm doing everyday highway speeds, at least for half of my commute, and average at 60 kilometers per hour.
See,
that's 3 times.
So you're stopping and stop at the traffic lights.
Exactly, and you do it in a straight line. That's not on windy roads. I mean, it would be fun to fly like this.
That's another type of driving, of course.
Yeah.
I still enjoy the roads as well.
Yeah.
But in the air, you can be so much more efficient as you don't have anything to worry about.
And I guess it drives like a go-kart.
It is very light. It's raw, but because your seating position is also low comparing other vehicles, it does feel like a go-kart.
How heavy is it?
Right now we are on 664 kilos, so that's half of Volkswagen Golf.
Yeah.
So to keep everything as light as possible, we're using aviation steel, but also a lot of composites, carbon fiber. Every gram which we can save somewhere on the vehicle, in the end will give you a bit of extra range. Because every kilo we put extra in the vehicle will reduce your range by about 7 kilometers. So if we made it 10 kilos heavier, we're losing 70 kilos.
It's a very, very big difference between the world of cars and like my electric car needed to weigh 3 tons.
Yeah,
you
can have 5
Pollies. and it's 120 horsepower in road use, or?
So you got 2 engines.
Yeah.
We're using normal Rotax 912. It's 100 horsepower per engine. So on the road you're using 1, gives you 100 horsepower on 664 kilos. And in the air,
That's
you
sweet,
use
yeah.
both.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you an extra layer of safety. Even if one would
Yeah.
fail, you can still continue flying
Okay.
on the second one.
Can you upgrade to the turbocharged Rotax engines later
Unfortunately,
on?
not yet, but who knows? It's really the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
We use what we have today, but you can also think in alternative fuels, alternative variations of the vehicle itself. So this is the tip of the iceberg where we're starting the market with. But right now we know how long it takes to certify a flying car.
Yeah.
So today I already know what we have in 15 years time. And there are a lot of exciting things coming up.
I think when you start an idea like this, how many more years did you need to get where you now compared to the first planning? Do you know that? What was the initial plan?
There are a lot of hurdles around along the way, indeed. So the first idea, I'm not 100% sure about what they estimated, but just looking into the EASA certification, it already takes about 10 to 15 years just on certification. So you need to design a vehicle, then you need to create paperwork, then you go into certification. So on the road, if you compare it, for example, with your electric car, if something is brand new and they're using new technologies on the road, it takes them a couple of months. In the air, it's just not possible because of the safety standards. Which
you cannot drive to the side. The air, difficult.
Yeah, you can't stop on the side.
Yeah. So whoever wants to develop a flying car, estimate 15 years at least, or join them.
More than welcome. Yeah, of course, as the company is growing, we got more and more space available also for staff. And it's not just on producing, not just on engineering, but think about everything like maintenance, like working in the flight schools, being a pilot, marketing and sales, but also the regions. So we're starting, it seems small in the Netherlands, but in the future you will have multiple production locations around the globe, or every local location will be
so
stuff needed.
Yeah. So now how many people are you?
Right now we're just over 200.
So, and the plan is then north of 2000, I guess.
Who knows? Who knows? It depends, of course, how big it grows.
Yeah.
But if you see the numbers we have today, with the status we have today, we can just be very happy to see the future coming.
Cool. If someone is interested in participating in the future of personal air land vehicles,
it's Pelvi.
How do they get one?
So, of course, if you want to join into the market, the whole market, the advanced air mobility market, fly drive and urban air mobility, as it's booming, as it's growing, it gives a lot of opportunities for both investors, but also for clients and people who want to work in the market. So if you want to invest in a company, ours or some other companies playing in the field, of course, you need to contact them directly because there are a lot of opportunities. On the other side, if you're a client with a specific use case or you want to use one for yourself, we are more than happy to welcome you and see if a Pelvi will fit your idea. So in Europe, we're starting with a base price of about 300,000 euros, excluding the local taxes. And down payment is just 10,000. So the person who wants to reserve one and be in the queue of the first years, you can now reserve your Pelvi flying car.
Based on your homepage.
You can find everything on the website. So we post career paths as well. So if you want to join a company and see if there's an opening for you, it's all on the website. They update it every time. And if you want to request more information about how do I become a flying car pilot or how do I become a flying car owner, of course, everything is on the website. You can contact us via the form, via phone, and we will be more than happy to guide you through the process.
Great. Thanks, Paul, for being with us. I hope this was interesting for everyone because it's something completely new. I'm very excited on getting my hands on the Pelvi when it's finally certified and I can fly mine. Have a nice day. Bye.